of the sphenoid. As we have studied in interior of the base of the skull also, you have seen supraorbital feature between the lesser wing and greater wing of the sphenoid. So this is the lesser wing, and this roof separates the orbit with anterior canal fossa will be located above. We have discussed this in while we studied the interior of the base of the skull. Now, what are the features it's present in the roof is this one is optic canal at the extreme posterior part of the roof between the lesser wing and body. Body is behind this, so you can see from here. And trochlear nerves, you can see the trochlear nerves at the anterior medial angle and gives the attachment for the pulley for the superior oblique muscle. You can see here, this is superior oblique muscles and it forms the trochlear nerves. Now we'll talk about the lacrimal fossa. As I told you, this is the lacrimal groove. So this lacrimal groove, okay, this lacrimal groove is a hollow area where you get the lacrimal gland, okay, in the anterolateral part. Now we'll talk about the floor. So this floor is made up of orbital process of maxilla. Look at this. This is the maxilla. So this is the orbital plate of maxilla and zygomatic bone and orbital process of palatine bone. Small one. Look at it. You have to memorize all these things. What is the structure forming the floor? What are the structure forming the roof? Okay. This will be a viva question. Will give the orbit. Will give the skull and will ask you the formation of floor, formation of roof, and this will be asked in MCQ also. And this floor presents the infraorbital groove and canal. So medial wall. Medial wall is very thin. Okay, medial wall. This will be asked in the third year also in department of this while you study ENT. That time also they will ask about this medial wall of the orbit. So it is very thin. It is formed by the frontal process of maxilla. Look at here. This is frontal process of maxilla. This is lacrimal bone. This is orbital plate of ethmoid bone, and body of the sphenoid is behind it. Okay. Here after this you will get the body of the sphenoid. Again, this is very thin. So while you see the skull, also this part is broken because it is very thin. Okay. So what are the features present over here is fossa for the lacrimal sac and anterior and posterior ethmoidal foramen. Okay. Anterior and posterior, as this is the ethmoidal bone, anterior and posterior ethmoidal foramen is present over here. Look at here, this is the lacrimal sac, it's present in the lacrimal groove. Now talking about the lateral wall, this is the strongest and thickest one. It's formed by this zygomatic bone, and this is the orbital surface of greater wing of the sphenoid. This is zygomatic bone and this is orbital surface of greater wing of the sphenoid. What are the features present is, what is this? This is supraorbital feature and Whitner's tubercle. This Whitner's tubercle is 11 mm or few centimeter below this zygomatico-frontal suture. This is zygomatic bone, this is frontal bone. So below this suture, you will get the tubercle, that is Whitner's tubercle. Now again you will get the foramen. This is the zygomatico-facial and zygomatico-temporal. You are getting the zygomatico-facial and zygomatico-temporal foramen. Okay, so these are the. Just remember, lateral wall is thickest than that of the medial wall, and it's forming by only two bones. So relation of the orbit. Above you are getting the anterior canal fossa and part of the frontal sinus. Below you are getting the maxillary sinus. Medially you are getting ethmoidal and sphenoidal sinus. And laterally temporal fossa and medial cranial fossa. So look at here. Almost it is surrounded by all the sinus. Above also you are getting frontal sinus. Below you are getting maxillary sinus, and medially you are getting ethmoidal and sphenoidal sinus. What is the communication of the orbit? You can see this orbit will communicate with this supraorbital feature, as we have discussed this in our practical classes also. It is retort shaped gap between the posterior part of the lateral wall and roof of this lateral wall and roof of the orbit. It's communicate with the middle cranial fossa, and above lies, it is bounded above by lesser wing, below by greater wing, and medially by the body of its wing. So this also we have discussed. This common tendinous ring divides into 3 compartments, and this common tendinous ring provides the origin of 4 recti muscles. What are they? Superrectus, inferior medial, and lateral. So it divides this supraorbital fissure in superlateral, intermediate, and infralateral compartment. So talking about the supralateral compartment, as I told you, LFT. LFT, that is lacrimal, frontal, and trochlear. So these are present in the lateral and supraophthalmic vein. Look at it, this is supraophthalmic vein, and sometimes recurrent meningeal branch of ophthalmic artery is present over here. Okay? Recurrent meningeal branch. So LFT, recurrent meningeal branch, and this is supraophthalmic vein. Now, talking about the intermediate compartment, we have also discussed this: 2 oculomotor nerve, nasociliary nerve, and abducent nerve. Okay, 2 oculomotor, nasociliary, and abducent. And in the inferior compartment, you are getting inferior ophthalmic vein. Okay, that's a present. I hope you have understand this in your practical classes also. So I'm not going to repeat this. Now talking about the infraorbital fissure. This is supraorbital fissure, this is infraorbital fissure. It's communicate with the pterygopalatine fossa or infratemporal fossa. Please remember here we have discussed also that here below it we are getting the pterygopalatine fossa and infratemporal. So what are the boundaries? Below and medially by the maxilla, above and laterally by greater wing of the sphenoid, and below by the xylem. So look at here, this is above and laterally by the greater wing of the sphenoid, below and medially by maxilla, and below by this zygomatic bone. Okay. So what are the structure present in this? It is infraorbital vessels and nerves, zygomatic nerve, zygomatic nerve, and orbital branch of pterygopalatine ganglia, and it communicates with pterygoid venous plexus and inferior ophthalmic. Now, what are the content of the orbit? So, this I will that will be discussed in next class. Today, we'll just go through this muscle of the orbit, vessels, nerves, and orbital flap. Okay. So, this is how in the orbit, look at here, this is lacrimal gland, this is eyeball, this is frontal nerve, all this nerve. And these are the muscles of orbit attached to it. So first is fascia that covering the orbit, that is periorbital fascia and valvular fascia. So orbital fascia, look at it, this is the orbital fascia. So what will happen? It is also called the periorbita. It is around the periphery of the orbit. So periorbita lines the peristome of the bony orbit. Look at here, this is the bone. So this is peristome. So it is lining over here. So this is it lines the peristome of the bony orbit. Anteriorly, this is continue with the around the orbital margin. So we have discussed orbital margin. So it anteriorly continues as anteriorly as the lining of the bone around the orbital margin. And whereas posteriorly, it continues with the dural thing. Look at it, this is dura mater, this is the optic nerve. So posteriorly, it continues with the dural thing of the optic nerve. Hello? Are you there? Yes, ma'am. So orbital fascia, it's forms the, look at it, this is This is orbital fascia, and this is forming the orbital septum. Look at it. So this orbital septum extend from upper and lower. Both this is also orbital septum. This is also orbital septum. So this orbital septum extend from upper and lower orbital margin, and it's attached to the corresponding tarsal plates. Okay? So you can see here, these are the tarsal plates. So it's coming and attached to the tarsal plates. And whatever another is orbital fascia, it's from orbital septum and lacrimal fascia. This lacrimal fascia will breathe around that lacrimal group, which I have given you in previous slide. So this orbital fascia, this is the lacrimal group where it will covers. Okay, this lacrimal fascia. Now talking about the another fascia, that is the bulbar or tension capsule. So bulbar fascia, it forms the membranous sheath extending around the eyeball from the optic nerve. This is extending from optic nerve to the sclera corneal junction. Sclera and the corneal junction. It will come up to here. From here, look at it. This is the bulbar sheath. It is separated from sclera. This is the sclera. So it is separated from the sclera by the episcleral space, or here will be the bursa. It is separated by this bulbar fascia. Look at it. This bulbar fascia is separated from sclera by this space that is called episcleral space. And different structures in this bulbar fascia, you can see the different structural pairs, that is ciliary vessels nerve around the optic nerve, and tendon of the extraocular muscle will also pair this. Okay? Tendon of the extraocular muscle. Now, what are the extension of bulbar fascia? Tubular sheath around is tendon. The tendon of the muscle which comes to the orbit, that will be covered by the extension of bulbar fascia. And look at it. This is medial check ligament. Another is lateral check ligament. This medial check, lateral check, and suspensor ligament of eyeball. This is also suspensor ligament. These are the all extensor of bulbar fascia. So medial check ligament, seat of the medial rectus muscle to the lacrimal bone. Medial rectus muscle, you can see this is the medial rectus muscle. From here, it extends up to the lacrimal bone. So this is the medial check ligament. Similarly, you can see seat of the lateral rectus. This from here it extends and attaches the zygomatic bone. So this is the lateral seat. Another is suspensory ligament or suspensory ligament of the from here to the lateral. So what are the muscles of the orbit? So there are intrinsic muscles involved in the movement of the eyeball, and there are extrinsic muscles and intrinsic muscles. So extrinsic muscles involved in the movement of the eyeball, whereas intrinsic muscles will control the shape of the lens and size of the pupil. Okay. So what are they? Extraocular or extrinsic muscles. Please remember 2 days before, we just focus on extrinsic muscle, but in KU exam they have asked about intrinsic also. So you have to study both the muscle, extrinsic and intrinsic. So talking about the extrinsic muscles, it is again divided into voluntary or striated and involuntary or unstriated. So what are the voluntary muscles? Superior rectus, inferior rectus, medial rectus, lateral rectus, 4 rectus, 2 oblique, that is superior oblique, inferior oblique, and levator-palpebris superioris. Please remember this name, levator-palpebris superioris. Now, talking about the involuntary muscle, superior tarsal, inferior tarsal, and orbitalis. These are the involuntary muscles. And talking about the voluntary, they are 4 rectus, 2 oblique, and another one is levator-palpebris superioris. So first we'll talk about the involuntary muscles. So superior tarsal muscle. Okay. So superior muscles, look at it. This is the superior tarsal muscle, the small one. The superior tarsal muscle derived from the intermediate fiber of levator-palpebris superioris. Look at it. This is levatopalpebrae superioris muscle. This one. So this levatopalpebrae superioris, from here, it gives another muscle that is superior tarsal muscle. Okay? So superior tarsal muscle, it is derived from the intermediate fiber of levatopalpebrae superioris, and it assists in elevation of upper eye. As this levatopalpebrae superioris muscles will help to elevate the eyelid, upper eyelid. So this superior tarsal, as it is coming from the same fibers of levatopalpebrae, so it also assists in the elevation of the upper eyelid. Now talking about the inferior tarsal, look at it. This is inferior rectus, this is inferior oblique, and where is inferior tarsal. This small one here, this is inferior tarsal muscle. So this inferior tarsal muscle, it extends from the seat of the inferior rectus. So this, look at this, seat of the inferior rectus and inferior. First you have to see inferior rectus, inferior. From this seat, this is coming like this. Okay, and to the inferior tarsal plate. So this is the inferior tarsal plate, and it's coming this inferior, it extends up to. So this is the inferior tarsal. It's coming from this inferior oblique and inferior rectus. Now we'll talk about the orbitalis. So orbitalis, small one. Look at here. This breathes across the inferior orbital fissure, and its function is unknown. I'm giving out the superior tarsal and inferior tarsal. Remember, superior tarsal will coming from the levatopalpebrae superioris, and its axis, whereas inferior tarsal is coming from the inferior rectus and inferior oblique. Okay, and orbitalis, it breathes across the orbital fissure. Hello. Now we'll talk about the voluntary muscles. As I told you, look at it. This is levatopalpebrae superioris muscle. This is the upper one. This is the superior one. Among this muscle, this is superior one, levatopalpebrae superioris. After that, you are getting superior rectus. And look at here. This is superior oblique. It's coming obliquely over here. This is inferior oblique. This is lateral rectus. Medial will be, look at it, the medial side, this is medial rectus, and this is inferior. Just to make superior rectus, inferior rectus, medial and lateral, and two oblique and levatopalpebrae. So these are the all voluntary muscles. You can see here, from here, so it will be more clear. So can you see superior oblique will be trochlear nodes? It forms the pulley. So it's formed the pulley like this. This is superior rectus, this is medial rectus, and this is lateral rectus. And these are all coming origin from the common tendinous ring, which will be present in superior orbital fissures. So all this rectile muscles common origin from common tendinous ring, okay, this one, and it will insert it into the sclera, a little behind the sclerocorneal junction. Sclerocorneal junction. This it's just like a formula is here, slim. That is, from the sclerocorneal junction, superior rectus is 8 mm far, and lateral rectus is 7, inferior rectus is 6, medial rectus is 5. Or you can go from here 5, 6, 7, 8. And so this is the distance from the sclerocorneal junction where it gives the origin. 8765 mm. Okay, and formula is same pictures showing the origin of the from the common tendinous ring. Now we'll talk about the superior oblique muscle. Look at it. This is the superior oblique. It originated from the sphenoid bone superior medial to the common tendinous ring. As this is not a rectile muscle, so it originated from the sphenoid bone superior medial to the common tendinous ring, and it's inserted in sclera in the posterior superior quadrant of the eyeball between superior and lateral rectus. Look at here. This is superior rectus and this is lateral rectus. So this superior oblique is going to here and inserted between the superior rectus and lateral rectus. This is the superior oblique muscle. So superior oblique muscle, don't confuse. Only forerecti will come from the common geniculus ring, whereas superior oblique from the sphenoid bone origin. Okay. Similarly, inferior oblique. This one is inferior oblique. From the orbital, as you know, this is the orbital surface of the maxillary bone. So this is inferior oblique getting origin from the orbital surface of the maxilla, and it's inserted into the posterior superior quadrant of the eyeball. This is the inferior oblique. Hello, are you clear? Boy, छिटो भयो कि ठीक छ कि के भयो? ठीक छ सुनिता रासौती बरु. Now this one is important. As I told you, this is levatopalpebris superioris muscle. So this is the levatopalpebris superioris. This is the superiormost muscle in the orbit. It has voluntary and involuntary parts. So its action is elevation. As levatopalpebris also supplied by the oculomotor nerve. So what will happen? Elevation is, if it is paralyzed, then the elevation of upper eyelid is obstructed. So action, as it is present above, so it will pull the orbit, so it's helping elevation of upper eyelid. Now it's divided into 3 lamina. Its origin is inferior surface of lesser wing of the sphenoid. Please remember this. This levatopalpebris superioris muscle is very important. It originated from the inferior surface of the lesser wing of the sphenoid, and it will inserted upper lamina in the anterior surface of superior tarsal. So it will attach to the superior tarsal muscle. So, and skin of the upper eyelid. Whereas middle lamina to the superior margin of the superior tarsal muscle, and lower lamina to the superior conjunctival fornix. So this is the superior conjunctival fornix. When you study the eyeball, you'll understand all this. Superior conjunctival fornix, inferior conjunctival fornix, superior. Just you remember now, it's divided into 3 and inserted like this: upper lamina, middle lamina. Upper lamina in the anterior surface of anterior superior tarsal and skin of upper eyelid. Middle lamina in the superior margin of the superior tarsal, and lower lamina in this superior conjunctival fornix. Okay, these are the fornix, you can see. So what are the nerve supply? So most probably you know that except the oculomotor nerve, it is supplied by what? This lateral rectus by the SO4 LR6, superior oblique by the trochlear nerve, and this lateral rectus by the abducens nerve. So you remember this formula, SO4 LR6. Okay, all are supplied by this. All the muscles are supplied by oculomotor nerve except these 2. That is lateral rectus, it is supplied by abducens nerve, and superior oblique, it is supplied by the trochlear nerve. Okay, all are supplied by the oculomotor nerve except only these 2 muscles, lateral rectus and superior oblique. So this formula SO4LR6 should be on the tip of the tongue. Now intrinsic muscles. So intrinsic muscles is also very important. As I told you, maybe 2-3 years back, it came in the KU University exam. So please focus on this. Previously, we did give prior to this intrinsic muscle. Nowadays, after that question, we have added few points about this intrinsic muscles. So intrinsic muscles of eye are dilated pupillae, sphincter pupillae, and the ciliary muscles. Okay. So talking about the dilated pupillae, it is also known as radial pupillar dilator. So the dilator muscle of iris contain the fibers. Look at it. These are the fibers that extend radially. Like, look at it. These are extending radially through the iris of the eyeball, and Its involuntary contract as available light will decrease. Thus, it helps to dilate the pupil. So, as a name also, it will dilate the pupil, and its arranged like a radiation. Look at it; it's radially present. So, this is a dilated pupil. Okay. It is innervated by ascending cervical sympathetic system with its course with spinal segment of T1 through T3. Sympathetic T1 through superior cervical ganglion. Just remember the accent and the name, and it dilates the pupil. Okay, dilatory, so it dilates the pupil. Whereas the intrinsic muscles, another intrinsic muscle is sphincter pupillae. Look at it, this is the sphincter pupillae or iris sphincter. It encircles, look at it, it encircling. It encircles the pupils of the iris and it's helping constriction of the pupil. It will dilate the pupil, it will constrict the pupil. Okay, and talking about the ciliary muscle, this one. It is the ring of smooth muscle that controls the accommodation for viewing the object at variable distance, and it regulates this. What it helps in accommodating reflex. So ciliary muscle will help in accommodating reflex, and it regulates the flow of aqueous lumen in the scamal canal. So when you study the eyeball, you will understand about this. Just now, you remember it helps in accommodation reflex, and it regulates the flow of aqueous lumen. Okay. Now both of them are innervated by parasympathetic component of the cranial nerve. 3. Okay. So this is about the intrinsic muscles. Just remember these pictures: dilated pupillae, sphincter pupillae, and ciliary muscles. And remember the accent: as dilated pupil, it dilates the pupil, innervated by T1, sympathetic T1, superior cervical ganglion. Sphincter pupillae, it's inside it is radially, it's going like radially, and so it dilates, whereas it will constrict. It is surrounding like this. It's constrict the pupil and it's supplied by the parasympathetic oculomotor, that is 3, and ciliary ganglia. Whereas ciliary muscle, it helps in accommodation reflex, and it controls the aqueous lumen in the flow of fluid, okay, into the scamus canal. So this is about the intrinsic muscles. This is the same thing. So actions of the eyeball, movement of the eyeball in different axes. First, look at it. If this is the transverse axis, okay. If this is the transverse axis, then around the transverse axis, elevation and depression will occur. So make a transverse line, then you'll get the elevation and depression. Now you make this one is transverse. Now you make this one is vertical axis. So in the vertical axis, look at here, you are getting the abduction and adduction. Okay? Adduction is towards the nose and abduction is away from the nose. Okay? So this is towards the nose, nasal plate, and towards the temporal bone, that is abduction. This is adduction, this is abduction, and this is adduction. Around the anteposterior axis, intorsion. Can you see the intorsion? So intorsion, it's moving like this. Intorsion and the extorsion, it's going out. So if intorsion means looking towards the nasal cavity, whereas extorsion is looking towards the temporal bone. Okay? So when 12-degree o'clock position, you assume the clock of 12 o'clock position, cornea rotates. If cornea rotates medially, it's going medially. Look at it, intorsion. And if cornea rotates laterally, it is extorsion. So you have to remember 4, that is elevation, so upward, depression looking downward. You have to see adductions towards the midline and abduction outward. And another is intorsion towards the nasal plate and extorsion laterally towards the temporal bone. Are you clear about the movement and the axis? So around the transverse axis will be transverse plane. So if this is transverse axis, so elevation and depression occurs. If this is vertically present, this is vertical axis, abduction and adduction. Okay. So in anterior-posterior axis, in the anterior-posterior axis, you can get intorsion and extorsion. Please be familiar with this: elevation, depression, abduction, adduction, and intorsion and the extorsion. So all of you just draw this picture because we have orbit 2 also. In that class we'll discuss, so that if you make this circle, first make the circle and put this like this upward. Just all of you have copy or pencils. So now what you do, just make this one upward, downward. Just first make the circle, then make this line like this. Here, here, here. Then what you do, you put the superior rectus over here, and opposite the superior rectus, you write the superior oblique. Okay, are you clear? First, you draw the circle. After that, you draw this line like this, in 4 quadrant. You can make a 4 quadrant. After that, in the right side, you make superior rectus, and opposite to superior rectus, you just write down the superior oblique. Okay. Now you write intorsion over here, and just opposite also you write the intorsion. Similarly, in this quadrant, what you do, you write inferior oblique, and opposite to this quadrant, you write inferior rectus. And what will happen, you write extorsion and extorsion. Or what you can do is you just draw the quadrant like this, and you put superior rectus here, medial rectus obviously over here. If it is superior, obviously inferior will be here, and medial rectus will be here, and lateral rectus will be here. After doing that, after placing all the subrectus muscles, you just put superior oblique opposite of this superior rectus, and in opposite of inferior rectus, you write the inferior oblique. And if you have already put an intorsion, you just put extorsion over here. So now what will happen? What is the action of superior rectus? It will do the elevation. It's pointing about. So superior, what is the function of superior rectus? It will what? Upward, elevation. And this, if assume this is the medial rectus, so this is the midline towards the nose. So this is doing the adduction. And it's intorsion, it's doing the intorsion. So superior rectus is doing the elevation, adduction, and intorsion. Now, talking of the medial rectus, what is it doing? It is doing the adduction. Okay? It is doing adduction. Now, talking about the inferior rectus, what is it doing? It is doing, look at the arrow, it is depression. So it is doing the depression and adduction. Another is extorsion. It is doing the extorsion. Okay? Intorsion and extorsion. This is intorsion, this is extorsion. Now talking about the superior oblique. What it is doing, look at it. Now it is, if this is midline, this is away from the midline. So this is what? Abduction. Here it is adduction, this is abduction. Now it is depression and intorsion. Okay. Now talking about the lateral rectus. Look at here, this is the lateral rectus. So it is, what is it doing? If medial rectus is doing adduction, this will be abduction. Now similarly, now about this is causing elevation and this is causing abduction, and another is extorsion. Group A, listen carefully. Sunday you have anatomy dissection. I'll take the copy. You have to draw this figure and bring it. Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Whatever you do, मैले के भन्न सक्दैन जस्ट आई क्यान डु यो फिगर बनाउने सबैले अब मोबाइलमा स्क्रिनशट लिन्छौ कि के गर्छौ गर फोटो खिच्छौ कि के गर्छौ जस्ट यु ड्र दिस फिगर यु राइट दिस बुझेको हो कि आई हेभ टु रिपिट दिस अगेन
मैम डिसेक्सनमा के हुन्छ आउने सन्डे
एन्टी एब्डोमिनल वाल अब टिआइटी सुरु हुन्छ है तर तिमीले यो होमवर्क लिएर आउनुपर्छ सुने हो सबैले सुने जस्तो हेर कसैले बोलेको सबैलाई भनिदियो है तिमीले नत्र गाडी खान्छ तिहार हुनु पनि गाह्रै रहेछ So this is again picture elevation, depression, abduction, adduction, intorsion, extortion. बुझेको हो नि? I have to repeat this. के हो?
ठीक छ म्याम बुझ्यो म्याम
सबैले बुझ्यो हैन त arrow बनाउने just make the arrow just make the circle make the quadrant like this अनि के गर सुपेरियर रेक्टस मिडियल रेक्टस इन्फिरियर रेक्टस र ल्याटरल बनाऊ अनि सुपेरियरको ठ्याक्कै अपोजिट सुपेरियर अब्लिक इन्फिरियरको ठ्याक्कै अपोजिट इन्फिरियर अब्लिक गर अनि त्यसपछि सुपेरियर रेक्टसमा इन्टर्सन राख यसमा पनि अपोजिट इन्टर्सन यसमा एक्सटर्सन किनभने एक्सन इट्स भेरी डिफिकल्ट टु मेमोराइज सो एक्जाममा तिमीहरूको सोध्यो या एमसीक्यू क्वेसन या whatever function आयो भने you just draw this picture and you can grade तिमीले नै भन्न सक्छ हैन के छ भनेर this is the same this is the flow chart what the elevation is done by superior rectus inferior oblique and this downward rotation or depression by inferior rectus superior oblique medial rotation adduction by superior rectus यो सबै चार्टमा बनाएको त्यो भन्दा पनि अघिको चाहिँ म यो यसो गर्दा बुझ्न गाह्रो हुन्छ अघिको चाहिँ तिमीहरूले बुझ्यो होला सो के गरौँ अझ वी हेभ टाइम यो एउटा भनौँ त्यसपछि आएर कम्बाइन्ड मुभमेन्ट अफ द आई कन्जुगेट अर्को चाहिँ यो सबै अघि अब नाउ वी आर स्टडिङ द कम्बाइन्ड मुभमेन्ट अफ द आई सो कन्जुगेट ocular movement it occurs when both eye move in the same direction with visual axis being parallel. Of optical axis, visual axis, you have to understand in next slide I'll show you. So dextrodorsal and labidodorsal, turning the both eye respectively to the right and left side around the vertical axis. Superduction and subduction, both eye moving respectively above and below around the transverse axis. Okay, first you have to see this is the axis. Okay, so visual axis, it's line passing through the center from the anterior and posterior, okay, of the eyeball, whereas orbital axis, line passing from the optic canal to the center of the base of the orbit. You do the axis. Look at here. This is the visual axis and the axis of the eyeball and the axis of the orbit. Duita axis boy. So this conjugate ocular movement also when the both eye move in the same direction with the visual axis being parallel. त्यो भयो भने चाहिँ के भयो visual axis भनेपछि anterior posterior pole लाई connect गर्ने. So if it is parallel to it, it is called conjugate or ocular movement. Or dextrodorsal and labidodorsal, turning the both eye respectively to the right and left side around the vertical axis. अघिको एक्सिस छ नि यो vertical axis भनेको के line passing anterior and posterior. त्यो axis को वरिपरि if it is gone, it is called dextrodorsal and labidodorsal. Axis I'll show you in the next slide. अर्को स्लाइडमा बनाऊ. So just remember the movement only. Superduction with both eye moving respectively above and below around the transverse axis. Transverse axis like straight axis if it is moving. That is called superduction and subduction. So this conjugate movements take place in the axis of both eye converge or diverge. यिनीहरु मैले अर्को स्लाइडमा पढाउनु पर्ला. So about the axis we'll discuss in next slide because first you have to know about the axis. So we'll talk about the blood vessels of the orbit. So ophthalmic artery. So it is the branch of the cerebral part of the internal carotid artery. And at the middle angle, its artery divides into supratrochlear and dorsal nasal artery. So this is the blood vessels of the orbit. So you can see here, this is optic nerve, this is the artery, and it's going and it's divided like this. Dorsal nasal and the supratrochlear. You choose it as a MCQ. Ophthalmic artery at the middle angle of the eye. It's divided. What is the terminal branches? Then you have to say supratrochlear and dorsal nasal. Okay. So what are the branches? Central artery of retina. This is the 8th artery. Obstruction, as this is the central artery, is the central artery. This is the 8th artery. So obstruction to this artery will lead to the total blindness. Lacrimal artery, look at here. This lacrimal artery, it rises after the ophthalmic artery. It pierces the dural slit, right? Ophthalmic artery, it pierces the dural slit and runs along the lateral wall of the orbit, and it gives branches to the lacrimal gland. Look at it, giving branches to the lacrimal gland. It's giving branches to the levatopalpal. This levatopalpal branch to the supply the upper eyelid and zygomatic branch, which appears on the face and temporal to the zygomatico-temporal foramen. Agi pore chai ni hamile lateral wall ma that two foramen. Through this two foramen, it gives branches. So recurrent laryngeal artery runs backward to enter the middle canal fossa through the supraorbital features. याद छ कि छैन supraorbital मा पढेछ तिमीले recurrent laryngeal artery supraorbital को lateral मा गएको and muscular branch to the orbit. And there are another branches arising from the main trunk, that is, look at here, this is short posterior ciliary artery. This is long posterior ciliary artery. You long boy, this one is short. This is posterior ethmoidal artery. This is anterior ethmoidal artery. This dorsal nasal artery, supratrochlear, we have discussed previously. And look at it, this. So you have to remember this all: supratrochlear artery, supraorbital artery. So these are the all branches you have to memorize by yourself. But still, posterior long and short ciliary artery. First, we'll discuss about these two: short ciliary artery, long ciliary artery. So posterior short and long ciliary pierce to supply the fluoride and the iris. Anterior ciliary artery, what will happen? This is so anterior ciliary artery. It supplies the eyeball and derives from the artery and supplies the muscle of orbit. Now supratrochlear artery and supraorbital supply the skin of forehead. Anterior and posterior ethmoidal. This is anterior and this is posterior. Duita sansan. So it supplies the ethmoidal sinus, nasal septum, and nasal wall of the nasal cavity. Orko the medial palpebral arteries to the eyelid, and dorsal lateral artery supplies the uppermost part of the nose, and it anastomoses with the facial artery. When you study the face, you have to study all these things. Similarly, these are the veins. And lymphatics, it's drained into the periauricular parotid lymph nodes. यो के गर्ने अब क्लासमा पढ्ने के अहिले पढ्ने हो
अर्को क्लासमा
So applied, just squint. What is squint? Squint and stabilizer is the same thing. So you have to go through this. Okay, so your ortho class tomorrow. So what about today class? So axis movement. You ortho class so
Ma'am, the tarsal plate भन्नुभएको थियो नि के हो? Tarsal plate भने के हो?
बोन हो कि बोन हेरेर कार्टिलेज दिस इज द टार्सल प्लेट सुपिरियर टार्सल इन्फिरियर टार्सल दुइटै हुन्छ अनि त्यो टार्सल प्लेटमा अट्याच हुने मसल सुपिरियर टार्सल मसल्स इन्फिरियर टार्सल मसल हुन्छ अब दुइटै हुन्छ कि अप्पर आइलिडमा सुपिरियर टार्सल मसल हुन्छ लोवर आइलिडमा इन्फिरियर टार्सल मसल हुन्छ इन्फिरियर टार्सल बोन हुन्छ मसल पनि अप्पर आइलिडमा सुपिरियर टार्सल भयो तल त्यो भयो अनि फेरि माथि यो हेर सुपिरियर कन्जर्भेटिभ फर्निक्स पनि माथि हुन्छ इन्फिरियर कन्जर्भेटिभ फर्निक्स चाहिँ लोवर आइलिडमा हुन्छ मैले यो सबै अब आइपड पढ्दाखेरि यो फर्निक्सहरू यिनीहरू बुझ्छ टार्सल ग्ल्यान्ड पनि हुन्छ टार्सल प्लेट देख्यो टार्सस भने देख्यो दिस इज द प्लेट दिस इज द कार्टिलेज बोन बुझ्यो
Yes, ma'am.
just please remember this you have to study extrinsic and intrinsic दुधै पढ्नु पर्यो है इन्ट्रिन्सिक चाहिँ पहिला त्यति इम्पोर्टेन्ट छैन भने चाहिँ तिमीहरूको बुकमा पनि खासै छैन जस्तो छ but you have to go through that three muscles also. Okay, so I'll take the attendance.